Hi, Teresa. I'm going to answer your question about the products and product catalogs and mugs. So you were looking at all your active products here under the products list. This is helpful. You can click into the product itself from here. You can sort by fulfillment and see who's fulfilling what. It really needs another click through to the category it's in, which is, I think, what's confusing that you're seeing is that when you look at your mugs, you're showing all these as active, which have fulfillment of Fuji and print server. So the product can be active, but the category that it's in can be disabled. And I think that's the case with your print server mugs. Because when you click into the product catalog here, and so your Fuji mugs are all under your top level housewares group here under mugs and steins. These are all Fuji. Your photo gifts category, which is all disabled, but it's hard to tell in myLab without clicking into it. So if you keep clicking into it, you'll see when you edit that mugs and steins under photo gifts, all the products are active, which is why they're showing up on that list. But you can see here, this is not checked. The category is not active. So these don't show up on your site, but they do show up in that list. It's a little bit easier. I'm going to flip over to myLab 50. It's easier in Lab 50 to see what's enabled and disabled because it's gray. So here's that same group we are in. Here's the housewares group with your Fuji mugs. And here is the photo gifts, housewares, mugs. You can see they're enabled, but the category and subcategories are disabled. So I would remove anything that you don't offer. There's no point to have all these active things sitting around if you don't offer them. So you can go through and you can delete from here. I prefer, again, flip back and forth a lot, to delete it from myLab. And you can, I usually have these open at the same time so I can use the best tools from each. So under photo gifts, I mean, you have this whole thing deleted. You could delete this whole thing with one click right here. I'm not going to do it in case you need this for reference and setting up other stuff, but that's how you do it. So if you don't need these anymore, go ahead and come in and delete the ones you don't need. As far as adding the ones from Colorado Timberline, here's how I do it. So I'm in the group that I want, mugs and steins. I'm going to edit the products that are in here. So these are all your Fuji ones. They're all active and priced. So as long as you still want to offer those, then that's fine. But to find out what each supplier offers, you're going to go back into Lab 50. And I do, rather than search, I prefer just to go look at their catalog. So you have a group down at the bottom of your product catalog group under store management called supplier catalogs, and you can expand and click into what they offer. So here's Colorado Timberline, and they have pillows and blankets and a shower curtain, but they don't have any mugs. So to add a product that a supplier will fulfill, this is what I do. I come into Lab 50, I find the product I want, I jot down the number, the product ID. Now, if you want to add it in Lab 50, it's a two-step process. You have to enable it here. So you right click and hit enable, and it will have a green dot here showing it's enabled. Then you go into your catalog and you drill into where you want to put that particular product, and you click add product. And then you enter that number and find the product and add it. So that's a two-step process. In myLab, we don't have the concept of enabling and then adding. It's combined into one step, and it's faster to add it in myLab. So your question about does it need to be enabled here first? Well, technically, no, it does not, because if you're doing it in myLab, it will handle that for you. If you're doing it in Lab 50, yes, it does. I always enable it anyway in Lab 50. Especially with third-party products, just the syncing back and forth. I'm already in here. I'm already looking at it. It takes a second to enable. So I usually enable it here anyway. Sometimes I've had problems with stuff showing up if I've added it here and it hasn't been enabled in Lab 50. So since I've got it open, I go ahead and do it. So I find the product I want. I right click enable it. I write down the ID. I come back into, you can always go through and just enable everything and then do a search for it too. And you'll be able to, if it doesn't show up, you can tell it doesn't work. So you could always skip this Lab 50 step if you know exactly what you need to begin with. But then I click add products. And then you can either, browse through all this or you can search. So I'll just grab a number here. So you can search for a partial number. So a lot of these are sequential. So if you want to add their whole burlap pillow set, you can do, let's see, the first couple of numbers and see what comes up. Okay, so these are all their pillows, right? Colorado Timberline. So if you want to offer the pillows, you can go through and click the ones you want to offer. Keep an eye on the product ID. So a lot of times when you search for something, it will come up more than once. This is just, it's been in your catalog before and it's finding another hit. It doesn't matter which one you offer as long as all the other information is the same. So you wouldn't want to click both of these. They have the same ID. So you can go through and do it that way. So this is if you want these pillows and whatever fulfilled through them. If you wanted to do them locally, you could pick this version of it, which is the print server version. If you ever hit on a product that has print server and IPI content, but they have the same ID, pick the IPI content version because that will give you the IPI content and the standard content, whereas print server is just the standard content. Print server and IPI are both designed to go locally to you for fulfillment. So those are items that you would fulfill. The other tip I have when you're adding, so I've searched it and it's come up in more than one group here. So this is a good example. So it's only showing me the list of stuff from the first menu item here. So I'm going to click into the second one and see what else it's found. So there are a few other products here. That sort doesn't seem to work once you flip menu items. Okay, so then you can go through and click all you want. So it's remembering the check from the previous window here. It's going to remember the check no matter what I do in this window. So for that reason, you want to do everything you can first. You want to search, you want to browse, you want to click between, and then hit OK. And once you hit OK, I'm not going to do it on this one, but then it will add all your products here. If you forgot a product, for example, I don't hit add products again because it's still remembering those checks. So if you go back to just add one product, you're going to get the first set of products you selected plus your one new one. If that happens, you can just hit X here to delete it. But I prefer to add everything at once, save it, then go back through product catalogs and make any other changes or additions. And the changes or additions I make besides adding products are the sort order, and I do that last, and the editing of the name and description. So another tip here, when you edit the name and description, click into it. These need descriptions. Everything should have a consistent name and a good description. The descriptions are used in the search, so that's important. Make your edits to your name, description, pricing, whatever else, save, and then hit your back button. Your back button will bring you back to this list. Your change will not be reflected here. So this is sort of a shortcut. So you kind of keep track of where you are in the list. Your changes are getting saved, they're just not reflected. So once you do all your changes, then you can hit save and it'll go back through the product catalog back into this category, and then you'll see all your changes. So if you lose your place, you can do that, which I usually have to do. So that's how you would add products from a supplier catalog. I hope that helped. Bye.